This is Horribly Off Topic, episode number 252. I'm Chris.
I'm Steve.
Hello.
Hello. It's been so long.
I feel like that's the beginning of a song.
It's been exactly 1 week.
It has. We did this on Monday last week.
Yes.
We're doing it on Monday again.
Yeah, because what was it? Why I forget why we postponed it last week.
Oh, that's a good.
I think no, you were up in Maine. Or
I
whatever.
was. Yeah, it was the weekend after my wife's birthday, so we were up in Maine, stacking wood. That's what now I remember. Yeah.
Right.
We
Now, did we ever get to talk about that?
Stacking wood. I don't know.
I think I saw it on the show notes, but I don't know if you ever actually mentioned it.
I feel like I did, but maybe I didn't say that much.
We have some over there. You want to try some more?
No, that's okay.
Put it in the back of your car. You put some weight back there once the winter hits.
Oh, that's a good point. But no, I don't need any wood.
Okay.
I got plenty of wood in my pants. No.
So what you're saying, and I just want to be clear,
Yeah.
is that you have an erection right now.
No. I mean, when I need wood, it's there in my pants.
Oh, okay. I thought because
I don't
you
have any
said
right-
you already have it,
No,
which
I'm
means
just saying that I have all the.
because
wood
I don't
need.
call my
It's-
flaccid penis wood.
No, but the wood's in storage. It's like it's out in the shed, you know. And when I need it, I bring it out of the shed, and it's there for me.
Store it in your cock. Is
No,
what
I
you're saying.
store it in my wife's shed for a little while, and then she says, "You know what? I don't need any wood anymore," and I go put the wood back in my shed. This metaphor is
you're
falling
like,
apart.
Yeah. It never actually got constructed, Chris.
It's because I didn't have enough wood.
Yeah.
See, that was funny.
Yes. Occasionally.
Every once in a while. I wasn't going to talk about this, but in order to get to
By all means, Chris.
but
Let's
in order
talk
to
about it.
in order to get to
I don't know what you're actually going to talk about, but let's do it.
in order to get to now I don't even remember why I was going to bring it up.
Just do it.
You said something. It was about wood and sometimes being funny. Okay, here's what it was.
What was it?
Okay, so I had an unorthodox day at the teaching part of my job today, where I frustrated with my students for not preparing for class. This is a creative writing class. They did not do. My perception was that they, for the most part, had not done the reading, which was their classmates' work, which I find to be extra reprehensible because it's not only that they didn't read what I assigned because there wasn't anything that I assigned that day. It's that they didn't read the work that their classmate turned in, and this is a group of people, many of whom we're near the end of the workshopping process, and so many of these students have had their stuff workshopped. So you would think common courtesy would say, we're going to read our classmates' stuff and be prepared.
So what you're saying is they workshop them and then basically with wood?
Yes, there's
And
lots.
that's what the tie-in is?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not very familiar with the creative writing process. I think I made it through English Comp.
Yeah.
And then
But you were published in a literary magazine, Steve.
I did.
We've talked about this.
That's because I was an ass and was typing on a typewriter.
Still, it doesn't matter. You were in there, and as long as the editors of the magazine accepted your work, which it sounds like they did, because I've seen the copy.
I did know the guy that was the I think the head editor. I don't know what do you call the person that's
the editor-in-chief.
Headitor-in-Chief. Yeah, that's the
Headitor-in-Chief.
Headitor. The Headitor.
The Headitor-in-Chief. Yeah, that's what you call him. So
we can talk about him a little later.
You've been published, so you know whereof you speak.
I wasn't like sitting in a room but
did you ever,
eagerly waiting to see if people were gonna say this garbage story is in the literary magazine.
But did you ever do like a critique on like a TV or film or radio project?
It was never super formal.
Right, and I don't think it has to be, but it's a creative writing workshop is essentially the same thing, right? So somebody turns in something to the whole class to read. You all read it in advance, in theory. Different teachers have different preferences, and then you come to class and you're prepared to discuss it. Well, the students today, for the most part, were not prepared to discuss it.
The thing is, the problem in situations like that, and like in my academic career and in my like career, when someone basically says, "Okay, go," about something, I'm nothing.
Right.
And so I don't know. I like there to be a dialogue, and so if this is a situation where there's only one student, or like each student reading each other's or something like that,
No,
then
it's okay.
then it would be difficult, because then this one person is the only person that's read that story.
No, in theory, if there's 18 people in the class, 17 people have, well, plus me, 18 people have read that student's work, and we're all there to discuss it. Now,
Oh, it's just so each particular student is each class period, as far as like once the actual...
maybe we'll have 2 students per class period or 3 students per class period, with the numbers going up. Sometimes it's more students per class than I would like, but yeah, so there's 20-30 minutes that's just talking about the work of that one person. And what you'll typically get is 2 or 3 people who are very vocal.
So those are the goody two shoes, is what I call them.
Some of them you might be able to. Some of them might fit that bill, but others are just have a lot to say. They're not trying specifically to like get me to check off so many points for them for class participation. They just have a lot to say.
Hermione Grangers of the world.
There are some that are like that, and there are others who are there because they really, really have a lot to say and to offer. They think about poetry or short stories or scripts.
That's something that I never think about.
Now, you'll have others who, similar to this is where I thought you were going with what you were saying, who are not comfortable speaking out loud. Now, those people have the option in my classes to post to the discussion board ahead of time. So they can't simply just copy down everything they heard in class and then pass it off as their own opinion. They have to do it in advance. And if they did it in advance, cool, they're allowed to do that.
Do you read them in class if they did say something and just not attribute them?
No, I mean, I'll sometimes go and if I see a very interesting point...
You'll say something?
If I see something, I'll say something. No, if I see an interesting point and I know the student is not sort of cripplingly socially anxious, I might ask them to reiterate their point. But some of them have made clear to me, like, I don't like to talk in class. And, maybe somebody can write into hot@horriblyofftopic.com and tell me I'm doing it wrong, but I do try to pay attention to where the students are comfortable.
Are they more comfortable in a small group communication?
Yes, I would say so, because as my classes get into the 3,000 level and get smaller...
What, 3,000?
they tend to warm up to each other, and also they've had each other in a number of classes at this point.
That seems inappropriate.
At any rate, they weren't prepared today, so I got up, I said...
fuck you guys.
I did not say fuck you guys.
Oh. That's what I would have said. That's why I am not a professor.
I said, we're going to talk about the stuff that was due today on Wednesday, and we're going to talk about the stuff that was due on Wednesday on Monday. Class dismissed.
You know what you should have done is this is out of Professor Johnson's playbook. It's just like jumped up on a chair and then dropped an elbow on one of them.
I feel like I might have gotten fired for that.
Well, Professor Johnson didn't, but he was working at a state school, and I think he definitely had tenure.
Yeah, that's school and he definitely had tenure.
And it's not like he actually hurt the person. It was a gag, but it was funny. But
I don't know if they would have appreciated that. Some of them might have. I think
there
are different senses of humor in every class, and you have to gauge very carefully who you could drop an elbow on and in jest, and who you should not drop an elbow on at all.
Because you smell what the Rock is... Oh, no, was it Stone Cold?
No, you smell what the Rock is cooking. But,
I wasn't... Did he drop elbows, or was it Stone Cold?
The Rock dropped elbows, yes, because the Rock would somehow... He'd do the... I forget what it's called. It's takedown, where he'd basically sort of tackle you, because he was an old ex-football player, right? And then he'd stand over your prone supine... when you're lying on your back. I can't remember. Anyway, he'd lay over you, he'd stand over your body, and he'd do this like crossing motion with his arms. I might get this reversed. He'd take his elbow pad off.
Oh.
And he'd chuck it out into the audience.
And everybody would go ape
I think
shit.
he did that first. And then he did the like whatever waving thing with his arms. He bounced off one rope, bounced off the other rope, and then did a little shimmy and dropped his elbow.
Okay. Well, then you should do that the next time they don't do their assignment.
Yeah, the people's elbow.
Is that
that's what it was fucking called, the people's elbow.
But wasn't that Stone Cold though?
No, Stone Cold had the Stone Cold Stunner.
Oh yeah. You're right.
Yeah, he would kick you in the gut, and then he'd give you the double middle finger, and then he'd turn around. And
this was the Attitude Era.
Yeah, he'd grab you, grab the back of your neck, and he'd fall down with your neck pressing up. I think
it'd be funnier if he grabbed somebody by the back of the neck instead of like
Why do I
doing
remember
anything
this
else. Like just put it in his mouth like a cat holding a baby cat.
What is that wrestler's name, and what is that move called? That's what I want to know. The kitten.
I don't know why I said baby cat. A cat holding a baby cat. What are they called? Kittens. Yeah, there we go.
So anyway, I said, I don't know if I actually said class dismissed, but I thought I was pretty clear that class was over. I left on my way back to my office. I sent a message to the whole class explaining, because some of them weren't there, explaining what the deal was. And I then got a message from one of my students who said, "We're all still sitting here." And
are you talking about the assignment? Are you just?
And I gather that they did, because that student and one of their friends came to see me later in the day at my invitation. I said to all the students, I said, "If you want to talk about what happened today, here's my office. Please come by." And
call me maybe.
A couple of students did, and we talked about it. And I think we had a good dialogue. And I held my ground and didn't apologize for walking out, but I did explain to the two people who came that they were not at all the people that I was concerned about, because, as I said, there are some people who are not talkative, and I know it, and I'll pay attention to them, and I can read the body language and see, okay, that person is engaged. They may not say anything, but I can see them.
I can see the ring on their finger.
Exactly.
It's sparkly.
Yes. Somebody put a ring on it.
Yeah, because they liked it.
But I bring all of this up because in that meeting that happened later in the afternoon, a student mentioned to me, and this is to bring it all the way back to the pile of wood and whatever it was you said.
And all the erections that you still have.
The student mentioned to me that they sometimes can't follow my very circuitous or off the beaten path train of thought during class. And so you said something early,
okay.
And that's what made me think of it is I received that feedback today, and it is one of those things that as I sit here and think about whether or not I should pull back from teaching, I do find myself going, I used to see the students in like this sequence where, I'd see them in a very structured class and then maybe a second very structured class. And then by the time they got to this class that I'm teaching now, or the class I teach in the spring, they had sort of been experienced a little bit of my ability to sort of go on a tangent.
I've never known you to do that. And
they'd figured out how to follow it. And then those classes went fine, but
it's post. What is it? Gen Z. What are they called?
Gen Z.
Besides that, they're not millennials.
They're not. No, I was having this conversation with my daughter in the car. She was, I was telling her about my day, and she was blaming it on millennials, and I was like, Kaylee, hold on. It's like most of the things you've heard about millennials are probably not true.
In fact,
definitely they're stereotypes.
They're more probably like what people are calling millennials nowadays are probably your generation.
Yeah. She's
incorrectly.
Well, no, she seems to have some understanding of the quote unquote millennials, whoever she's lumping into that, not having any respect for her generation. She's 13. I don't know why she's even thinking about this yet, but there you go.
It's a way to get us to fight with each other. So the people with all the power and money,
About all the stupid shit while they fuck us with war and death and infinity.
right? Like let's what was that, Patton Oswalt? You don't have to sip like that. It's fucking gross.
Well, it's moist, is what it is.
Yeah. Saw Rob this weekend.
Yeah, well, I've seen Rob a lot. I got bone to pick.
With Rob?
Well, with you and Rob and my brother. I'm just gonna say, no, it's not a bone to pick.
Was it him without his shirt on?
No, no. So I was in a incredibly shitty mood at dinner last night. I'd had a rough second half of the day, and
Did you sit on some sandpaper?
my wrist, which has an Apple Watch on it, my wrist was blowing up because you guys were all sending each other texts at precisely the time when I was trying to eat dinner. And I said to my family, I'm like, I am about to throw this watch at the wall. And then I read all of it later and laughed. I thought it was a very funny exchange.
This guy right here?
Yes, which you can tell us about. But you guys had a very funny exchange. But in the moment, when I'm trying to eat my chicken pot pie and...
Was it a personal chicken pot pie?
No, my mom had made chicken pot pie for Sunday dinner. And I... was trying to eat it and trying not to lose my shit because I was in a bad mood, and then every 2 seconds my wrist was like beep, beep. Well, it's not like that. It's like a little rumble on your wrist, and
it seems like you got this watch that is more than a watch that also connects to your phone.
Yes,
which is in your pocket probably. So if you...
it wasn't in my pocket that day.
It wasn't, or was?
Oh, it was. Yeah.
Okay, so instead of what would normally happen, like with me, I would hear buzz and I would leave it in my pocket.
Right.
But is it more pronounced on your wrist?
Yes. Well, it's on your wrist.
Yeah. Well, you could just get a regular watch and then not have to worry about it
or I could turn notifications off.
Right. While you're having dinner, you should be like, hello, personal assistant on my phone.
Yes.
Can you turn
She's
off...
not listening to me very much, by the way. I am very annoyed. She's listening to me on my watch, which is almost never where I want her to listen to me when I'm in the car. In the car, I'm trying to get my fucking phone to do something so I don't have to touch my phone. I'm like, play my music, or dial Steve, or text Kaylee.
When the fuck have we ever talked on the phone?
Not dial Steve. It should have been text Steve. I was using different verbs because I knew I was going to say text Kaylee next. I was changing it up a little bit of artistic license, if you please.
All right. Well, just so we're clear, I don't think, at least in the last 10 years, had a conversation on the phone.
I don't think so.
We might have. In an instance
who fucking talks
where
on the phone?
You and John were both at your house, and I called the house.
Okay.
And you answered, and then I asked for John.
Possible.
And that is the extent of a conversation we might have had on the phone.
Okay. It's possible.
And that might have been at least 15, if not 20 years ago.
Yeah. This is who talks on the phone? I mean, I know that's a cliche, but it's like we have these things we call phones. They're not really phones.
I think Becky and I have bumped up to at least 25, if not 30 conversations on the phone in the length of our relationship.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Given given when what year did you get together?
2015.
Wow, 25.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Stephanie and I always sucked on the phone, and so I was very glad for the era of
you got the whole phone in your mouth.
We were testing a new prototype of teledildonics, and no, that was one of the weirdest fucking name. I remember when that was a thing, and it would probably read it in Maxim in 2002 or some shit.
Oh, that's a real thing? I thought you were just being clever.
No. Well, I don't know if it is a real thing anymore, but in 2002, they're like, look out for the coming of teledildonics. Can I call the episode "The Coming of Teledildonics"?
So, can you send a message over, have it shoot some slightly warm goo,
no,
out of the phone, but if you push a button?
But what I have heard let's not mince words or pretend here. I went to a place called I think we talked about this way back when I forget how I stumbled upon this. It was a place called Chatterbait. One evening, and Chatterbait is apparently...
Was this recently, or was this
9-12 months ago? I don't know. It was a while ago.
It was about a year ago. Okay, we might have talked about it, but to refresh everyone's memory,
So
let's hear about Chatterbait.
Chatterbait is a place where you go, you watch either usually ladies pleasuring themselves. For certain amounts of money, they do more things, and the sort of chat room can get together to keep tipping and tipping and tipping until reaches a certain point. Sometimes it's couples, but to your point about can you press a button and shoot warm goo, one of the things I saw on there, and I had to go, like, I had to close or at least open up a new tab because, like, what the hell is happening? There was some sort of toy that was hooked up so that the lady had either inside of her or resting on her sensitive parts, and that toy was hooked up to the Chatterbait service so that if somebody tipped a certain amount, they could make that toy buzz. And I was just like, what? I didn't understand exactly what was happening, so I had to go look it up, and that's basically what it is. It's like you buy this thing if you're one of these...
So we go from teledildonics to Chatterbait, and everything's perfect in the world.
So I guess...
There's nothing fucked up. There's no weird things going on.
No.
No one's getting booed at baseball games.
Not talking about that.
We can allude to things, but not actually drill into it.
Yeah.
We can just laugh at...
Drill into it. I see what you said there. I see what you did there. Yeah. And all this... okay. All the same motherfuckers who are all like...
Who are fucking their mothers.
I'm thinking specifically of a couple of assholes who have a morning show on the MSNBC that might have the word morning in the title. All the same fucking assholes who like 2 weeks ago when we were going to impeach the motherfucker.
Hey. You are talking about it, and I would prefer not.
I'm gonna back up off it in a second.
All right.
But all the same motherfuckers who were all on that bandwagon of like, ooh, it's happening, are now like, we should be a little more civil to each other. Fuck you. He went to a fucking baseball game. He went to a fucking baseball game. If he expects to not get booed, then he's got another fucking thing coming. And that's it. Should we talk about Brian's party? Let's get as far away from that piece of shit to as we can, and by doing it, we go to an awesome person. So we over here
is my television.
That's the left. Over here on the right
is my futon.
No. But on the metaphorical right, we've got the biggest asshole piece of shit in the land, and over here we've got Brian.
My TV. Oh no.
No, we've got Brian.
I still have my TV.
Who had a birthday?
Yes, he did.
The metaphorical all the way over here. So
birthday.
As far away from the piece of shit as we were just talking about, we got Brian who had a birthday.
Yes, and he's a sweetie pie.
And I heard. No, you got to tell me first before you get into anything else, and then I'm gonna shut up and drink my Sam Adams water here.
I think Sam Adams actually does make water.
I want to know, because I think when I initially heard about Brian's party, there was going to be axes thrown.
Yes.
So I would love to hear about that and anything else you would like to say. And now I'm going to shut up and...
The problem about the axes thrown part is that I wasn't there for a majority of that.
Oh.
I was a spectator for some of it, but there was just... Every once in a while, there'd just be someone holding it weird.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, I don't want to be behind these people. Because if they lose their grip, there's an axe flying at me. And it may hit me with the handle part, but it may not hit me with the handle part. So I think Dave, John, and I kind of went downstairs and played arcades. Because it was at this place called the Apex Center in Marlboro. And I like, it's been there for apparently 2 years. And we had never gone over there yet. But we went there and it was like, what the fuck is this place?
Is axe throwing a regular part of their I was going to say curriculum.
Yes,
but,
it is. Yeah, you study at Apex Center University, and one of the courses you have to take is axe throwing 101.
All right.
And
did anybody make it to 201?
I don't know. Well, from what I hear is that the professor walked out.
And they were left to
because
throw
no one brought their axes to class. I don't know.
So I meant to ask. I had a student a couple of years ago
that went axe throwing.
What pronouns are they using? I think
I said they.
No. I'm trying to remember. You said they. You were good. I'm trying to remember so I don't misgender them. I'm pretty sure they went back to she. So she was. She missed a couple of my Friday afternoon classes, and she made up for it by always turning in the best fucking stories of the week and always doing her fucking work. Anyway, she missed a couple of classes to go train how to train people to be axe throwers, or just trained how to be it. And so when I heard Brian mention this, I was like, could that possibly be the same place? But
no. There's some in the city area that I think are I think there's a peripheral drinking. I don't think you're allowed to drink where exactly you're throwing the axes, but I think that you can either throw before, or you can have a beverage before or after or something like that. I'm not sure. I haven't been to the city places.
Yeah.
But this place was just axe throwing, and there was the ability to go down to the basement, the basement, which is where most of the arcade was, and then there was like a floor like right above, which is basically the ground floor where the bar was.
Now, I know you said you weren't...
But there was several... The axe throwing place was on the 4th floor.
Holy shit.
There was also there was an escape room, which we did a little later, and I'll my wife fucking she rocks at fucking getting shit done
at the escape room.
And we all rocked at the escape room. We got not in record time, but we did an impressive number. We had more than I think we had about 14 minutes left to get out of the room, and we did an impressive amount of work. But
you're saying the axe throwing was on the 4th floor.
Yeah, but then on the 2nd floor there was an escape room, and there was like a trampoline park, or that might have been on the 3rd. No, wait, that was the 2nd floor because we were watching it from the 4th floor, this giant window, and just watching. When we first got there was this little girl, and she was just
throwing
jumping.
axes.
No,
on the trampoline.
We were watching. Yes, that they try to combine it. You have to do a flip and then throw an axe. And if you don't hit the bullseye, they drop you into it. They're training you
for the Road Warrior Wasteland, the apocalypse.
Right, because there's nothing but trampoline parks and axe throwing bars. Yeah. So we were watching this. She was adorable, just jumping from the little. And then she fell and cried. Her dad came over and then walked with her, and then she got back up and tried it again. So yeah, we watched it for a little bit. A couple of folks, it was just like they're just gingerly holding the thing and not gripping it behind them, and I'm like, yeah, I'll see you later. Have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was everybody that did it, I think, had a good time doing it.
Right.
And we all went to the bar afterwards and had a little drinky poo, and there was a couple pinball machines.
Yeah.
And
but let me ask you before we move on an axe question, because
can you ask me a question?
Can I ask you a question? That was a missed opportunity, Chris. You dumb shit. I talk like that to myself sometimes.
Yeah, you're really doing great with that self-care.
This better than normal. I mean, there's a lot.
Calling yourself a piece of shit is better than normal.
The stuff that I call myself on like a typical weekend. Oh, it's
weekend is the perfect time to not call yourself bad names.
Oh no, it's the perfect time to just pick on yourself like no tomorrow.
It's just that you play a little video game, you have a little fun. That's weekend time
tonight.
Yeah.
Axe question.
Sure.
What are they throwing it at?
A target.
Like a piece of paper taped to the wall,
No,
or like
it's a target that is painted into a wood.
Okay, and is the wood thing sort of freestanding, or is like?
No, it's basically the wall.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Is like, is there, are you throwing at the wall? Or are you throwing at?
I mean, there's probably a wall behind the wood.
Yeah, the wall behind the wall.
But
that's
Becky,
the title of my next mystery novel.
I think Becky got a good slow-mo of Brian throwing. Like this is when we were still, or they were still. I didn't ever throw any.
Yeah.
But when he was still practicing, and it just went kind of directly up.
Yeah.
And then it kind of hit the sign above, and it just went blurp right down. And then he did like his head down right in front of him, like a Charlie Brown shuffling away.
I got a rock. I can't remember. Did he like always want to, is this something he always wanted to do, or he was just trying to come up with an awesome thing to do for his 40th birthday?
I think he had it in the back of his brain that he wanted to do this, and it ended up being a good opportunity. So he did some research of where they had some, and then he lives in Marlboro, so it was pretty darn convenient.
Nice.
So yeah, we did that, and then we went downstairs to the bar, and I played a little pinball, and fucking like. The Guardians of the Galaxy machine.
Oh,
when it first came out, we're all like,
has that raccoon in that?
It does have the rocket raccoon there.
Baby Groot or regular Groot?
It has regular Groot. It's based on the first film.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's when it first came out, everybody was like, oh, it's just a reskin of fucking Metallica, which if you look at the shots of those two games, they're very similar.
Yeah.
But there's subtle differences. But when it first came out, like I did not like the game because it was just like, oh, you start this mode and then it's just hit the lit shots and whatever, and it doesn't have a lot of depth behind that.
Right.
But then they came out with a code update.
Yeah.
And the game got leaps and bounds better. Like, if you completed 4 of the modes, you got a super awesome mini wizard mode multi-ball.
Yeah.
If you start all the modes, you get another wizard mode multi-ball. If you finish all the modes, you get an even more special multi-ball.
Shit, dog.
Yeah. So there's a lot of cool stuff. Not that I've ever made it even halfway, but there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do in that game with the code update. The Guardians of the Galaxy machine that they have there is still on whatever 0 point whatever initial release.
That's
code.
like an IT person's nightmare.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's I think partially Stern's fault for
for shipping a bad product in the first place.
Yeah, well, yeah, for having not having the code complete before you ship the pinball machines.
Yeah. So I don't even know if you would know this, but what's involved in updating the code on a pinball machine? I don't imagine that most of them have a Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's weird, even because these are brand new machines. Well, relatively brand new. I think Guardians came out a year or two ago, but I think you actually do have to hook it up to some sort of cable.
An Ethernet or something.
Yeah, and or maybe hook it up to a computer that is hooked up to Wi-Fi or something like that.
Not that I think they need to make a Wreck-It Ralph 3, but I think, that was one of the moments that I chuckled a little bit. I like the Wreck-It Ralph movies when Mr. Litvak, I don't know.
The guy that owns the arcade?
The guy that owns the arcade.
Played by Ed O'Neill.
Yeah, he has to go. Have you seen the second Wreck-It Ralph?
I have.
Okay, yeah. So when he has to go looking for the steering wheel, and he has to go out and buy a modem, and he has to go he seems overwhelmed by this. So I don't even know. Do we know if there is pinball in the Wreck-It Ralph universe? I'm trying to think if I've ever seen a pinball thing in that arcade.
Well, it might not. They might not have them. If you go to a fucking Dave and Buster's or anything like that nowadays, there isn't pinball there.
Oh, that's a shame. That seems weird.
Well, it's they're.
It seems like pinball is the thing that's until recently, it seemed like pinball was the thing that was actually getting updated.
Well, yeah,
the new machines were coming out.
Yeah, well, there's all the arcades like a Dave and Buster's are primarily looking towards, and same with this game, this Apex Center, are gearing towards ticket redemption.
Oh, okay, right. So pinball's not gonna,
But even so, like this particular arcade, I mean, they had two other machines. They had Aerosmith, which was fine. I don't like that game so much, and then also Star Wars, which was actually playing better than the Aerosmith, which is weird because usually I fucking despise the Star Wars machine, but I had several pretty okay games of it. I think I got like close to 400 million.
Is that like a classic Star Wars or a more recent?
It's a more recent, but it's based on episode 4, 5, and 6.
Right. Okay.
So you don't have to worry about like Anakin being all whiny about sand.
Oh, but I want I want whiny Anakin.
No, you don't.
No.
So yeah, for the same reason is that they're probably not going to be as well maintained or updated because the operators are like.
It's not their primary concern.
Yeah, and they this is not where they're making all their money. Like a place like an A4Cade or a Flat Top Johnny's,
right?
Or
any of those wonderful arcade
arcade bars.
Arcade bars.
Yeah, and or like Trina's where we had my birthday. Oh, it's not Trina's anymore. It's Sky High now.
Okay. Did it change since? No.
It has changed since, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's very, very recent. I don't know how much of a fan the new owner is of the pinball because
he wishes he could serve some Barcade and
I don't know. But like the places like that, it'll do well because it'll bring in folks like for a pinball night or whatever league or Mitch because he has the machines at both A4 and Flat Tops. He does tournaments all the time just so to bring people in, and I'm sure on days like a Tuesday which is when league night is at Flat Tops, it's just like when they maybe wouldn't necessarily get a whole heck of a lot of business unless it's the day that I'm running league and then there's a fucking convention on the other side of the bar and everybody's fucking like mobbed in there. There's like hundreds of people, and then it was like one of the busiest nights of the league, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Biochem. That's where you want to be.
What? Well, it's Kendall Square.
I know.
That's where I work.
I'm saying that's where you want to be. That's where it seems like all of the people that I know who are making decent money are in.
Oh, it's very nice of you to say that I'm making decent money.
Well, I work in education. Everybody's making way more money than me.
The world needs ditch diggers too.
Oh, sure does. For all the teachers who are gonna fucking commit suicide because they don't get fucking paid anything.
So yeah, we did that, and then we had a couple of drinks at the bar, and then we just had like there was I think it was on the third floor there was VR, or it might have been on the fourth floor as well. I don't fucking remember. There was way too many floors. There was also a fucking Planet Fitness there. I forgot about that.
I was thinking about the VR being on the same. For a second, I was like, does that mean the VR is on the same floor as the trampolines? And like, could you imagine having a VR headset and being on trampolines? That would be a trip.
Yes, because you would do exactly that.
So did you do the VR?
No, we didn't do VR, but then like we were having a discussion at the bar, like do we want to try to do one of those two things? Like it'll probably be too expensive for us to do both,
right?
But do you want to do like either the escape room or the VR? And so we, I think we hit the escape room first because it was on a lower floor, and I went off to pee, and then there was just like, I come back, and then like Brian had gone in and asked if they had a room, and he's like, oh, sorry, they're all booked up. And then my wife storms in.
My wife?
Not a minute later and says, come on, it's his freaking birthday. I don't know. She might have actually said fucking. She was like, it's his fucking, because we had a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
It's his fucking birthday. We should let him get it, like, bump somebody. Like, this is his freaking, like, 40th birthday.
Turn one of these closets into a...
No, but like the guy's like, wait a minute, if there's only 7 of you, I can do a room, but there was 8 of us, and so like Lori, Brian's girlfriend, was like, okay, I'll sit this one out.
She's gonna rescue you all when you.
But I was in the bathroom. They could have just thrown me under the bus and said like, Steve, you're odd man out.
Yeah. Well, you are an odd man, but they don't have to throw you out.
Yeah. Well, like Lori was very nice and
Yeah.
and let it so I could go in.
Yeah.
And so we puzzled all the puzzles out. I think we asked for one clue. We were just really stumped.
Yeah.
And it had to do with like another light switch in the room that we would never have noticed if
Interesting.
if we had ever been asked or
I think
whatever.
I've watched a video of somebody in an escape room. So I think I get the concept, but yeah.
You've seen the movie Saw, I think is what you're saying.
I have not seen the movie Saw.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there was some cool puzzles. I only mentioned the one thing because that was the one thing that we really got stumped on. So if you ever go to this particular one, look for more than one light switch.
There you go.
But yeah, it was like a lot of good puzzles. We there was just like one or two things that we might have missed, but that we got at the very end. And if we hadn't missed it earlier, we probably would have gotten done slightly earlier. There was one of the guys that Brian works with that was like wanted to get done in less than 45 minutes, and we almost did, but we were like about a minute behind that.
Okay, so you get 60 minutes to start with.
Yeah, you have an hour to get out of the room.
Yeah,
and well, basically. She made it very clear.
Yeah.
You are not locked in this room. To get out of the room is to push the keypad here and then hit pound. And if it lights up white, that means you got out.
Okay.
But you are not in any way trapped in this room.
Right.
Well, at the very beginning, we kind of were.
Yeah.
Because we were all locked up with handcuffs.
Okay. Got it.
But we got those off pretty quickly.
That sounds kinky.
Yeah. Very. We had masks on too.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. So then Rob was waiting. He hadn't arrived yet, but he was waiting for us when we got
fashionably late.
Yes, and we got something to eat at Chipotle, and then headed over to Brian and Lori's place.
Yeah.
And played a little bit of Jackbox, which
What is Jackbox?
It's one of those games that you can get on the PS4 or Switch or whatever, and it's just like a bunch of party games.
Got it.
And the one that we have is Jackbox, I think 3, which is
you don't know Jackbox?
well, it's basically the you don't know Jack.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like they just come up with like usually four or 5 games, and it's just like the one that we have is. Has Trivia Murder Party. It's basically you guys are all everybody that's playing is
trying to kill each other?
No, is trapped in like a escape room type situation,
Okay.
but like they have to answer trivia questions or else they kill you. The guy kills you.
Okay.
And then like once there's one person left alive, then you have to.
That sounds like a third string Batman villain.
Yeah, it's a fun game. Although I always get annoyed with some of the questions and yell a lot, but that's very unlike me.
Oh.
So we played that, and the one he had had Trivia Murder Party Part 2, and we played that a couple of times. And I think Becky won the second round. I did very poorly on both times.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like there's one called TKO on the one that we have. It's basically you play all the games, like you play it on the PS4 or whatever, but everybody uses their phone.
Okay.
And so like you write like for the T-shirt one, it's called you write phrases for the T-shirt, and then somebody draws a picture according to what phrase you wrote, and then a lot of times people will draw dicks.
Because why not?
Yeah. Because I thought, like, I saw a...
is the dick, like, being drawn up on the screen?
No. It's on your phone.
Okay.
So, like, once... And then, like, it'll pair the slogan with the... Or wait, it'll give you the, like, people... Another person the option to pair, like, the drawings with the slogans or whatever to see if they're appropriate or whatever. Yeah. Or see if they're funny together. And then, you vote on those shirts. And the shirt that wins is the... shirt.
I was just gonna say that would explain to me.
But you can order the shirts too. Like you can Becky did once that she
so that explains the motivation for drawing dicks. Is like, well, my dick that I'm drawing might end up on a T-shirt.
Well, yeah, I mean, you'd have to buy it, but
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, like then like there was I don't know if it was a joke or not. But I think it was. But I saw something on some sort of social media that said like Jackbox to release, okay, just draw dicks as part of their new Jackbox whatever package.
I forget why I decided to watch it. The last couple weeks, I was rewatching part. I didn't watch the whole thing of Superbad, and of course, one of the main characters, not Seth Rogen, little Seth Rogen. What the fuck is his name?
You're making it escape my brain. So thank you.
I'll
look it up.
Anyway, his character drew dicks. That was his thing. And he just drew a lot of dicks, and I thought that was funny at the time. And then I rewatched it. I was like, it's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it on Netflix, and I was just like, maybe I'll watch this again.
Yeah.
Jonah Hill.
Yeah. I think is his character's name Seth? His character's name is Seth in the fucking movie. I just realized that.
It's because because Seth
right.
Rogen wrote it.
Yeah.
And I think he wrote that part for him.
Yeah.
But then when they finally got to make it,
Right,
he
he
was
was
kind of too old to play the part.
I think the movie that I've wanted to see, because actually it looks really, it definitely looked interesting. And of course, I'm a sucker for a Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross score. Is Jonah Hill? It's not the same thing. He didn't make a comedy. He made the film mid-90s, which seems to me, it's like, so Rogen wrote Superbad and it was about him. And then Jonah Hill played, and now Jonah Hill has done something similar, probably at about the same age. But I don't think it's a comedy. It's about skateboarding kids. But that kid doesn't look anything like Seth Rogen or Jonah Hill. So I think he escaped the curse. He escaped the curse.
The corpse.
Yes. He escaped the corpse.
So yes, then we played a couple of games of that, and then we headed out to the Joy Asia.
The Joy Asia. What is the Joy Asia?
I definitely have talked about this place before. This was the place that a buddy of mine, Mike, and I did karaoke one night, and it was the Steve and Mike show. We did like I think 7 songs apiece because no one else was fucking there that particular night, and so like we had the run of the place. It was not so this particular time, and then it was very busy, and it was a lot of people dressed up in Halloween costumes, and a lot of people dressed up in Halloween costumes based on the Wizard of Oz. I think it was every character in that fucking movie was there.
Was there somebody that was Toto? It's like a furry who's like,
hold on.
Now you gotta go ask.
I gotta go ask Becky.
I did not expect that question was going to interest Steve enough that he would leave the room. I'm very now I really want to know. I was kind of asking it as a goof, but I think it's possible. We'll see. Steve's going to be back, and just a sec.
I'm right here.
He's going to tell us what's the verdict. Was there
I
a
don't
Toto?
think there was a Toto.
Aww.
And Becky doesn't think so either.
That's I mean, I understand, but
But there was there was all the main cast.
Yeah.
There was Dorothy and the Tin Man and the Scarecrow looked really good. Like the Tin Man was just kind of like he was obviously a Tin Man suit, but like the guy who was the Scarecrow, I think he put some effort into it.
Yeah.
But that outfit is easier,
right,
to make.
My mom and dad and the couple that they were really good friends with.
The Lion looked good too, though.
I'm trying to remember what they. Anyway, my mom and dad and the couple they were friends with back in the day, like when I was really little or before I was born, did the Wizard of Oz, and it's.
Was your dad the Lion?
I don't know.
He had to have been.
Maybe he was. Maybe my mom was the. I'm trying to. The woman in the other couple was Dorothy. What the hell would my mom have been? Maybe she was a Scarecrow. I don't know.
I think that would be more on brand.
I think the other. Yeah, so maybe my dad was the other dude. I believe was the Tin Man.
Yeah,
so I think he was the thinnest and the tallest. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, it's one of those pictures that like, weird that I remember that picture, but you brought it up. Anyway.
But yeah, there was a tree, there was a flying monkey.
I was going to ask. I got that reference. I understood that reference.
Glinda and the
Elphaba?
What?
That's in the novel / musical Wicked, the main Wicked Witch, the one that's not crushed under the house. Her name is Elphaba.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, she doesn't have it. I don't think she has a name in any of the Baum books. I think Elphaba comes from that. Anyway, so Elphaba.
Cool.
Yeah.
But there was an interesting cross section of individuals that got progressively more intoxicated over the course of the evening.
That's the only way to do karaoke.
My friend from college, Kelly, came by as well because she lives in Framingham. So when we go there for karaoke, it's a pretty easy ride for her to come over and hang with us. So she came and helped us celebrate Brian's birthday. It was like by the time we were about to leave, which was late. Because we wanted to sing 2 songs, and since you ought to get automatic you use this app.
Oh, to book, that's a way better system than
walking up to the dude. So it's like songbooks online or something like that. You just have to create a login. You go in there, you just type whatever song, and the guy has a lot. So if it just a night where it's not fucking super crowded, it's super great.
Did I ever tell the story? It's a karaoke story. You ever tell the story of? Are you familiar with the musical artist Lizzo? Have you heard of Lizzo? She's good as hell, and she's 100%. Took a DNA test, and she's 100% that bitch. That Lizzo.
I've never heard of Lizzo.
Anyway, Lizzo, very popular these days. When I went to the XO festival, not this past September, but the September before.
Did you sing some Lizzo?
No, I saw Lizzo do karaoke. And when I tell people this who know who Lizzo is now, they're like, what? Because Lizzo got super, super popular about 3 to 4 months.
What song did Lizzo do in karaoke?
Oh, shit. I should have known you were going to ask me that. She and her DJ and their 2 dancers, because I think she's probably got a whole fucking band and a whole bunch of dancers now, but at that point she was opening for Florence and the Machine, and she came across the street and did our little conference, and at that point there was just the 4 of them. I feel like they did some Salt and Pepper. She did, her DJ was more of a rapper, so I think there was some Salt and Pepper. Lizzo probably did, I don't know. It was good, whatever it was.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Anyway, I wish we'd had that fucking app, because that night, it was popping, the little karaoke bar they put in the basement of the arena, and but you couldn't get anywhere near the fucking books to sign up.
You just it's like using technology to your advantage instead of having I remember going to the Glenview once on a karaoke night, and the guy had you had to write down a number and the name of the song and the artist, and it'd be like, oh wait, I don't have that CD anymore, and it's like, what?
Yeah. Well, that's the.
But this was like maybe 2010 or something like that, so it wasn't or maybe it was. No, it was probably like 07, because we would occasionally go to the Glenview instead of going to JJ Boomer's.
Well, I was in fucking Portland, Oregon, and that guy, I don't think they had the technology to do what you're talking about, but that guy, a ton of the songs that were in his catalog were actually songs he did. So he found the roots, or not the root.
I keep on looking to see
stems and whatever, and actually made his own karaoke mixes that were in a lot of cases better than. It reminded me of Dan. I remember one of the times I've done karaoke was over at Dan's place, and he had a ton of.
Well, he also did. He did Diary of a Hobo.
Right.
Like a karaoke version of it. So I forget where we ended up doing it, but we ended up I guess
Did you do it at your No, you didn't do it at your at the after party of
Yeah,
your
yeah.
wedding.
He did some karaoke, but I don't think he brought it with like
Okay.
that song because he would have had to like put it on a flash drive or
Right.
something like
I
that.
feel like wherever it was, I was there, but I don't know.
I think it might have been at Boomers or something
maybe
like
it wasn't.
like we had a Boomers reunion one time, like right
Yeah.
after we finished the album, and then like we did our I think only live performance of that
Yeah.
song.
Oh, maybe. So maybe it was at his house the one time I went over and we all did karaoke, and that would have been after you guys did the Boomers thing, and so he had it around.
Yeah.
So he did Dire of Hobo.
Yeah, I should just like because like that's the place we tend to go. I should just ask the guy like on a more slow night to
Yeah.
see if he can find it somewhere because I think Dan probably uploaded it to some
Right.
karaoke website or something like that,
Yeah.
and just ask the guy to find it, and,
Yeah.
and maybe it's kicking around somewhere, and then I could do a song that I originally sang live.
That's the way to do it.
Right.
I did that at live piano karaoke in Nashua once, but I had to write down the chords and stuff, and
The crowd was really weird. Like at times I thought they were really into what I was doing, and like there was a couple of people that I know that were really into because they told me about it
this was
afterwards.
at Brian's party.
Yeah. So I did like I started off with Dead Milkmen, some punk rock girl, and like some dude comes up to me after and says, "Oh, it's fucking awesome." So I know that guy liked it,
Right.
but like the crowd was like whatever, like they applauded and whatever. But then like my second song, everybody was significantly more drunk, and I think I probably should have switched the two songs because I sang "They Might Be Giants" for my second one, which is like it's sort of a kind of melancholy song despite being upbeat.
Right.
And Birdhouse.
Yeah.
And so it's fine, and I think somebody was very into it, but then like people were going Steve, and I'm like, are they making fun of me, or did they actually like it?
Yeah.
And like when we were leaving, like the guy that was screaming my name was like, "Dude, you're great," and I'm like, okay, I guess he did like it was just maybe because like I've like PTSD from stand up, like I don't know if someone's like legit
Heckling
into
or
like so I don't know if you're like heckling me or if you're legit into it because like when you get that drunk it's hard to tell.
Yeah. the lines begin to blur.
So yeah, after that we sat for a little bit, and there was some like people I talked to about Mike Patton for like 15 minutes or so or something like that. Then they left.
Yeah.
And then this dude shows up that I showed you the picture of.
Right.
So I don't know if you could put this as the picture.
Yeah.
Put this as a picture on YouTube at least.
Okay. Yes. Yep.
For this
I think I can do that.
So yeah, like this guy, I see him sit down, and then like he looked like I don't know, I hadn't seen him there the whole night, so I'm assuming he was drinking elsewhere, and then arrived here, and then just I didn't see him do the shirt over his head part. But he would just like sat in the chair, and I think was like Blair.
He kind of fell. I think
it was because it was too
backwards.
bright, maybe.
Oh, okay.
That he put his shirt over his face, and so he just had his exposed belly out in the middle of the fucking bar.
Well, he technically still had a shirt on, so they could technically still.
Yeah, I mean, it was
serve him,
still
right?
on him, but like it was not covering his front part. And so I think I don't know if Becky got a selfie, but I think Brian did.
With him.
And I think maybe Kelly got a selfie. I'm not sure, but a couple of people got a selfie with this guy's belly, and like, I'm like how like. Yeah, well,
what are you gonna do with that picture?
Well, I mean, I was blacked out on my birthday, but I just got sick. I didn't pass out in a chair and then like decide to basically show everybody my belly.
But you went to Brian's party and you lost your voice.
I think
that's why we're recording on Monday. Is your voice wasn't feeling so
it wasn't
good.
gone like,
Okay.
but it was not great yesterday.
Right.
It is definitely better today because I didn't do a whole heck of a lot of talking yesterday,
Right.
and I didn't do a whole heck of a lot of talking today.
Yeah.
and it recovered, but
Right.
like at the beginning of the day when like it was we're talking breakfast time and whatnot, like back and forth, like every time I would say something to Becky my voice would be like
You
I'm
were
like
Peter
yep,
Brady.
nope, not recording today. Like every time I spoke, it just got a little bit worse. I'm like, nope, it's not happening.
But it sounds like you had a good time. And,
yeah,
and
we had a fucking blast.
So that that kind of makes it all worth it. A little bit of pain the next day or discomfort.
Yeah. I definitely did. Like I paced myself. Like the couple of drinks I had at the initial part.
Right.
I was like, I'm gonna pound waters until we leave.
Yeah.
And I did. And then basically I didn't get that fucking midday hangover when you're doing a long a long day like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I drank like 3 or 4 waters before like we even went up to the escape room. I peed a lot.
Hey, there are worse things to do in your life than pee a lot. So says the man with the bladder like an infant.
But yeah, so like, by the time we got to and I had a belly full of Chipotle, so I definitely was full. And so I had something to absorb the alcohol.
Yeah. Well, I got news for you, Steve.
I hate to break it to you, but it's the end of the show.
I was gonna say we're at an hour 26. We did not get to talk about One Piece Stampede or the really cool news about the. Should we tease the?
No. Let's do it because it just happened. I believe yesterday, and we'll just wish.
Friend of the show,
Brian, not the one that we just had a birthday celebration about, but the other friend of the show, Brian.
Right.
He just had a small one.
Who, if not sharing the birthday of another man.
Well, no, it's not the same day.
Oh, okay.
Because Brian's birthday was Saturday.
Okay.
So,
right. Well, sorry, I interrupted you.
But yes, so we want to congratulate Brian on the birth of his new baby.
Yeah,
You told me the name, but I will refrain because I would like your baby to have some anonymity.
Yes,
at least until you decide.
Right to mention the baby's name. Yeah, no, babies are cool. I had I had
you had 2 of them. Yeah.
Yeah. They pooped and they peed and they cried a lot. They still do. That's not a good place to.
I mean, like, you don't have to clean it up anymore, at least.